Shalom Israel. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. In this article, it says, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran call out Israel's declaration of war after it bombs 3 countries in 1 weekend. Okay, so we clearly see that Israel is the issue. Okay, they go around fucking with everybody and then play the victim. Alright, and why is this important? Because this is a prelude to World War III. Okay, this is a prelude to World War III, and according to the scriptures like Isaiah 13, the Jeremiah 49, which we're about to read, Obadiah. Alright, the scriptures speak about, actually I'm going to just read it. Alright, this is Jeremiah 49:20. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he taketh against Edom. Edom is the so-called white man today. And his purposes, that he have purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Okay? And their stomping grounds where they use to bully the earth is America. Okay? And when you read in the book of Psalms 137, I believe, Edom is synonymous with Babylon. Alright? Which is the daughter of Babylon, which is America today. Okay? This is the place, alright, to where everybody looks to. This is the bully of the earth, man. Alright, Isaiah 14. Many scriptures that speak of Babylon and how Babylon will be destroyed. Alright, and that was a future prophecy at that time. And how we know that? Because ancient Babylon is in the Iraq area, in which people still inhabit. Okay? So it says, therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he have purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Who is the least of the flock? Israel. Okay? Israel is allied, close allied with America. Alright, so the least of the flock, alright, or baby brother, alright, to America is Israel. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Okay? And that's beautiful, man. You know, that's beautiful. And really, Israel, the Most High, used Israel as a snare. Alright? Which is beautiful, man, because these are the people who claim to be the children of the Lord and are not. You know, like scripture say, I know the blasphemy of them that say that they are Jews and are not. Okay? So it's rightly so, man. The ones that's perpetrating as the children of the Lord, alright, is the ones that's also starting these wars, man. Which also goes to prove that they aren't the children of the Lord, because the scriptures say in Isaiah the 2nd chapter, when we get into our land, there will be no more war. Okay? So now when we get into this article, it says, where was I? Lebanon, Iraq, and Iran have declared recent Israeli aggression as an act of war after attacks on Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq over the weekend, promising devastation retaliation if the violence continues. You know? And these those Israelis, because they're not Israelites, they're Israelis, the fake Jews, alright, are the Amalekites, which are the dukes of Edom. Alright, and Edom is known to rule the world by the sword. Okay, so these devils, alright, cannot put that sword down, man. You know, even when it comes to them hurting themselves, they will not put the sword down. And Israel has become enemy number 1 amongst this, the Arab states around that area, man. So it says, a pair of kamikaze drone attacks on Beirut's southern suburbs on Sunday and a drone strike on Palestinian militia in the Bekaa Valley early on Monday morning were akin to a declaration of war. Lebanese President Michel Aoun told the United Nations Special Coordinator on Monday, adding that the aggression allows us to resort to our right to defend our sovereignty. The international community must reject Israel's blatant violation of UN Security Council Resolution 1701, which ended the 2006 war between Lebanon and Israel. Prime Minister Saad al-Hariri implored ambassadors from the UN Security Council's permanent members. Any escalation could develop into a regional cycle of violence that nobody can predict the extent of. And us, the men of the Lord, can predict the extent of that, man. The extent of, all this violence is World War III. All right, to where, as it says in the book of Joel in Isaiah 13, the Most High have called all these armies to go down to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, or the Valley of Decision. All right, to where they would be judged. They would fight each other, and ultimately they would have to fight the Heavenly Father to be judged and be burnt off the and put in slavery, Slakia. And in the midst of war, they're going to shoot nukes off at each other. All right. It says the international community must reject Israel's blatant violation of UN Security Council Resolution 1701, which ended the 2006 war between Lebanon and Israel. Prime Minister Saad al-Hariri implored ambassadors from the UN Security Council permanent members. Any escalation could develop into a regional cycle of violence that nobody can predict the extent of. And any Israeli drones overflying Lebanon will be shot out of the sky. Hezbollah Secretary General Sayed Hassan Nasrallah warned Tel Aviv Hezbollah will tolerate no more Israeli drones penetrating Lebanese airspace, he declared on Sunday after an explosive-laden drone took out Hezbollah's media center in Beirut. Nor was Lebanon the only nation to draw the line at the eruption of Israel's aggression over the weekend. A powerful bloc in Iraq's parliament has demanded U.S. troops leave the country after a series of Israeli airstrikes targeting Iran-allied Shiite militias known as Popular Mobilization Units over the past week. The Fatah coalition holds the U.S. fully responsible for the Israeli attacks, which we consider to be a declaration of war on Iraq and its people, it said in a state on Monday after yet another drone strike killed a PMU commander in the western town of Al-Qaim. U.S. troops, the coalition insists, are no longer needed in Iraq. And in Syria, Israeli missiles attacked several targets outside Damascus over the weekend. And it shows you how much of a devil this man is. Because here it is, over here in the U.S., they'll say, well, there's a war on terror, and we gotta keep our troops over there to make sure we're safe. Stemming off of what 9/11. All right, but it goes to show you just by reading this that the ones who's declaring that there's a war on terror is the one that's bringing the terror. Okay, so hey, that just goes to show you that this place got to be destroyed, man. All right, this place has to be destroyed, man, because you got Esau over here crying, he acting like he's a sheep when he's the wolf, man. Okay. And it says, U.S. troops, the coalition insists, are no longer needed in Iraq. And in Syria, Israeli missiles attacked several targets outside Damascus over the weekend, killing at least 2 in what the IDF claimed was a preemptive strike against a large-scale attack on multiple killer drones on Israel by Iran, ironically a larger version of what they themselves were preparing to inflict on Lebanon. Israel will pay a high price for its actions, Ali Rabiel, spokesman for Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, told reporters on Monday, calling the bombings black stains on track records of this regime. He praised the words of his regional allies, noting they send a clear, severe message to the Zionist regime that its brazen acts of aggression will not go unanswered. And if anybody, plans to do anything to Israel, all right, because this is another article, which actually I read this article prior to reading the article I just read to you, brothers. All right, so it says, Pompeo, U.S. will give Israel diplomatic, legal, and military resupply support in any war with Iran. And that's considered a war with Iran, man. Because now Iran is basically backing the the Lebanese militia, man. So that's basically a war with Iran, man. Because hey, everybody's tired of Israel and they bullshit, man. And as going into how America is like, a big brother to Israel. If you have a big brother and you see that he's starting issues, you should actually talk to him and tell him, look, bro, you the one, it's your fault, but now basically America is feeding on to their BS, man. So it says, Pompeo, look, we've been very clear about a couple things that you just referred to. First, with respect to the Islamic Republic of Iran, we flipped the U.S. policy there. The previous administration guaranteed Iran a path to nuclear weapons system, allowed them to form in terror, and allowed their missile system to run amok. President Trump has directed that we do just the opposite, to deny them the resources to create risk not only for the United States and its citizens, but for Israel as well. And we've been successful with that. And we've also been incredibly supportive each time Israel has been forced to take actions to defend itself. All right, and as the article we just read, Israel is about to be pushed in the corner to defend themselves, man. Because they've been been the antagonists the whole time. The United States has made it very clear that the country has not only the right but the duty to protect its own people. And we are always supportive of their efforts to do just that. So with respect to ensuring that Israel is treated fairly at the United Nations, Israel can certainly count on the United States of America. So how do you think these other America's allies going to look at America now? Like they going to look at them sideways, man. Because instead of trying to correct the problem, you feed into the bullshit. So reading on into this article now. Israel has ramped up its assaults on regional foes as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu heads into what promises to be a close election. It says a redo of April's contest, which saw him slightly edge out challenger Benny Gantz, but failed to form a coalition government afterwards. Netanyahu has warned that retaliation by Hezbollah will be met with attacks on the Lebanese state as a whole, and boasted last week that he had given the IDF a free hand to thwart Iran's plans, which has so far equated to bombing its allies in 3 countries. So Israel has a lot to answer for, man. And America does too if they choose to back Israel, which we know they will. All right, because the scripture just said, surely the least of the flock. All right, so the least, of the flock of you Edomites, which we just went into. All right, the Edomites or the Amalekites over there in Israel. All right, they will be considered the least of the flock. He shall draw them out. All right, so draw them out, man. Which goes into the book of Joel 2:20. All right, going into the same thing. But I will remove far off from you the northern army. The northern army will be North America, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face towards the east sea, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things. And that's just beautiful, man, because they had a hand in putting us and basically destroying us, putting our people in slavery to those Israelis. All right, so now they're gonna have a hand in destroying America, man. All right, the place of our captivity. All right, it says, "Fear not, O land, be glad and rejoice, for Yahweh will do great things." All right, so Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua is getting ready to do great things for us, man. All right, he's pulling us, and he's setting up the trap, the snare for Esau, man. He's setting up the snare for Esau. you know, and it's that's only right, man. And the only way them devils, those Israelis will stop is if they be if they be put down. Now this is a scripture that says Sirach 23:17, two sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath. A hot mind is a burning fire. All right, which we know Esau is considered that hot mind. Roughly, all right, or more specifically, those Israelis over there always constantly starting trouble. It will never be quenched till it be consumed. All right, and now these other Arab nations are starting to see that, man. Look, and we don't do something about it, these Israelis, they're going to continue to trouble us in our homeland. Okay? So then that's where war is going to pop off. All right? Because all those Arab nations, they're going to come against Israel. And then just to like this very day, America's going to send troops out there. All right? And then they're going to, overpower those Arab nations. All right? And then now the Arab nations going to have, they're going to get their big bro, Russia. All right? And these other allies with Russia, man. Which at this point in time, you have certain of them that are allies with America, like Turkey. All right, one I could think off the top of my head, but the scriptures say, she that was confederate thee had brought thee even to the border, man. So these other nations are gonna soon turn on America as well, man. Because they're losing money by the shit that America's doing. All right, and hey, that just don't go well with anybody, man. You supposed to be my boy, but you losing me money. All right, and the things that America is doing also at this point in time, we see like by them pulling out I believe the JCPOA with Iran. Iran don't like that, man. And putting tariffs on Iran, to now it's pissing Iran off, and they're closing down the straits for Hormuz. All right, so now it's making it hard for, Turkey, not Turkey. Well, maybe it's making it hard for Turkey and other allies to do, it's making it hard for them too, because they need oil as well. All right, but it says, a hot mind is as a burning fire. It will never be quenched till it be consumed. Okay, so it will never be quenched until it be consumed. All right, so that's going to be the only option, is for Israel as well as America to be consumed. If not, they're going to continue to be the bully of the whole earth, man. That's why the scriptures say he is as death and cannot be satisfied. All right, going into Esau, Edom as a whole, man, they are as death and cannot be satisfied. All right, so what do you do with a person that can't be satisfied? Or what's going to happen to a person that can't be satisfied? He's going to consume until his lust is going to take him into his destruction, man. All right, it says a fornicate in the body of his flesh will never cease until he have kindled a fire. So there's some quick World War III update. And this is going to be the war to end all wars, man. All right, to where nuclear missiles are being used. All right, and that's the end of Esau as you know it. Okay, the end of Esau's power. Because as World War III is going on, as I said, when you go into Second Ezra, I believe it's like 2, as they're fighting, Yahweh Shah is going to come. No, this thing is 13 actually. Second Ezra 13:5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. You know, because in the midst of them fighting, like when you read in Isaiah the 13th chapter, they're going to end up fighting the Lord, because the Lord is going to come out of nowhere. And that scripture say, I believe in Revelation 19, he's going to take the crowns off of all their heads. Basically meaning that he's going to take them all out. Okay? You know? And that's really in any fight, man. When you take the champion out, guess what? You become the new champion. So the Lord is going to take Esau out and all these other nations for that matter, man. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved him a great mountain and flew upon it. But I will have seen the region of place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yes, durst flight. You know, because Yahushua's return is going to be a fearful sight. Psalm 68, I believe in 19, or Psalm 68 and 18, I believe, says the chariots of the Lord are thousands, even thousands of angels. Okay? And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor his sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it were a blast of fire. You know, like you're watching the movie Independence Day, the laser beams is coming out of the chariots, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So, hey, that World War III, man, is going to be the end of all. It's going to be the end of these nations, man. Talking about the end of them ruling, man. You know, and the Most High is going to come back, as it says in Daniel 7. All right, and he's going to rule forever and ever after that. So that's the importance of that article. Just basically us getting closer to our kingdom. All right. It says it right here, man. It says Daniel 7 and 18. And it's basically talking about after, you know, all these kings came to rule, Esau being the fourth beast. All right, the second leg of Rome. It says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. You know, so just a quick walkthrough of what's going to happen, man, or what's happening. All right, so with that, shalom to the elect.